Springfield Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting is called to order. We will now have the presentation of colors by the Springfield Police Department Honor Guard and the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. Please stand.
Detail, halt. Lamb, face. Freeze that, arms.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Detail, order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Our recognition of Police Chief Jason Head to reveal the new bicentennial badge. Chief Head.
They look mighty good in those uniforms.
Drum roll. Drum roll.
Look at the easels here.
New easel in their budget. Thank you, Mayor. And yes, they do look very nice, don't they? We wanted to present our official badge that we're wearing for the 200th anniversary of the city. And we'll be wearing this the rest of the year. We were a little bit late getting them in with some design process, but we're very proud of them and honored, just like the men and women of the department are, to serve the city every day. We wanted to show how proud we are of our 200th anniversary. This is not something that comes along. We will never experience again, definitely in our lifetime. But we wanted to commemorate the event by having a special badge made, and we'll be wearing it all year long as we are already. So, Captain Burnett, my lovely assistant. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, officers, for what you do each and every day for our city. We appreciate you and all the staff. Thank you. 1.3, the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen held March 19, 2019.
Move for approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Any changes need to be made? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. 1.4 is our public hearing. Our first public hearing is ordinance 19-04, an ordinance rezoning 3 parcels and the right-of-ways located on New Hope Lane. 1 parcel and a right-of-way to be rezoned from R20 Residential District to RI Restrictive Industrial District, and 2 parcels and the right-of-way to be rezoned from CG Commercial General District to RI Restrictive Industrial District. If there's anyone that would like to speak for this public hearing, please come to the mic and state your name. You have 2 minutes to speak. No one wishes to speak. The public hearing is closed. Our second public hearing is ordinance 19-05, or ordinance amending the fiscal year 2019 annual budget for the city of Springfield by amending certain general funds and utility fund operating budgets. If there's anyone that would like to speak, please come to the mic. If there's no one that would like to speak, the public hearing is closed. We're moving on to 2.1. Discuss and possible take action on ordinance 19-03 on a third and final reading. A ordinance rezoning one lot, a total of 1.01 acres, located on Bradley Drive in the 9th Civil District from MRO multiple residential and office districts to CS commercial services. Do I hear a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions on the third reading? Discussion? No discussion? Call the roll, please.
Harris.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed. Gregg. Head.
Yes.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 2.2, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 19-04 on a second reading. A ordinance rezoning 3 parcels and a right-of-way located on New Hope Lane. 1 parcel and the right-of-way to be rezoned from R20 Residential District to RI Restrictive Industrial District, and 2 parcels and the right-of-way to be rezoned CG Commercial General District to RI Restrictive Industrial District. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Schneider.
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Gregg. Sneed. Trotter.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 2.3, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 19-05 on a second reading. A ordinance amending the fiscal year 2019 annual budget for the city of Springfield by amending certain general funds and utility fund operating budgets. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed. Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Gregg. Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 2.4, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 19-06 on a first reading. A ordinance abandoning right-of-way on the Gorham Avenue. Do I hear a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Will you please read this ordinance?
Ordinance 1906, an ordinance abandoning right-of-way of Gorham Avenue, whereas Eric Measle has requested the right-of-way of approximately 35 feet in width located north of parcels that he owns. Tax map 80N, Group A, parcels 71, 72, 73, and 74 of the tax maps of Robertson County to be abandoned. And whereas the City of Springfield Planning Commission has reviewed the request and recommends the right-of-way be abandoned. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Springfield, Tennessee as follows. The right-of-way located on Gorham Avenue, approximately 35 feet in width and approximately .63 acre, shown in Exhibit A attached, will be abandoned by the City of Springfield. A blanket easement covering the existing right-of-way will be required and given to the respective utility departments and the City of Springfield for ingress and egress, and all existing utilities owned or maintained by the City of Springfield utility departments within this right-of-way, and will be shown on a survey plat provided at the requester's expense. Eric Measle shall be responsible for obtaining all surveys and legal adjustments to amend the property deeds of Eric Measle, and shall be responsible for all costs of said work. All ordinances and policies in conflict herewith are hereby rescinded to the extent of the conflict only. This rezoning shall become effective following its third and final passage as required by law.
Thank you, Ms. Brickles. Discussion, gentlemen. No questions?
Ready for the vote.
Call for the roll, please.
Head.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg. Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed. Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 2.5, discuss and possible take action on ordinance 19-07 on a first reading, a ordinance abandoning the right-of-way at the end of New Hope Lane. Do I hear a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. If you'll please read this, Ms. Brickles, when you...
Ordinance 1907, an ordinance abandoning right-of-way at the end of New Hope Lane, whereas Excel Real Estate LLC has requested the right-of-way of approximately 40 feet in width between 3 parcels owned by Excel Real Estate LLC to be abandoned, and whereas the Springfield Planning Commission has reviewed the request and recommends the right-of-way to be abandoned. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Springfield, Tennessee as follows. The right-of-way located at the end of New Hope Lane between parcels located on Tax Map 92I, Group A, Parcel 1, Tax Map 92I, Group A, Parcel 2.01, and Tax Map 92H, Group A, Parcel 17 of the tax maps of Robertson County, approximately 40 feet in width and approximately .47 acres shown in Exhibit A attached, will be abandoned by the City of Springfield. Easements for all existing utilities owned or maintained by the City of Springfield utility departments within this right-of-way will be required and given to the respective utility departments and shown on a survey plat provided at the requester's expense. Excel Real Estate LLC shall be responsible for obtaining all surveys and legal adjustments to amend the property deeds of Excel Real Estate LLC and shall be responsible for all costs of said work. All ordinances and policies in conflict herewith are hereby rescinded to the extent of the conflict only. This rezoning shall become effective following its third and final passage as required by law.
Thank you. Questions, gentlemen, comments? No questions? Call the roll, please.
Trotter.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sneed. Gregg. Harris.
Yes.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 2.6, discuss and possible take action on Resolution 19-11, a resolution declaring certain properties surplus and authorizing the disposal of such properties. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Any questions on the list that's on your iPad? No questions? Call the roll, please.
Sneed. Harris.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Gregg. Head.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. Moving on to our administrative portion of our tonight, 3.1, discuss and possible take action on the adjustments of the retail electric rates of the Springfield Electric Department due to the wholesale fuel cost adjustments by Tennessee Valley Authority. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gardner.
Mayor, we got a 0.3% decrease this month.
Decrease. Yay. Thank you. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Harris.
Yes.
Schneider.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Trotter.
Aye.
Sneed. Gregg. Head.
Yes.
Pass 7-0.
3.2, discuss and possible take action on the adjustment of the monthly gas rates of the Springfield Gas Department. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Riddle.
Purchase gas adjustments now 3.61%.
Awesome. Gentlemen, you have any questions? Because we better vote quick. Call the roll, please.
Schneider.
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Gregg. Sneed. Trotter.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we'll be expecting the same way next month. 3.3, discuss and possible take action to award the bid for resurfacing, bridge work, and guardrail repair on William A. Batson Parkway to Charles DeWeese Construction Company, Inc. of Franklin, Kentucky, in the amount of $618,141.83. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
What's the budget for this?
It's, see, around $1 million, I guess. We have 545,000 from TDOT, no, 214 from TDOT, 545. We're using a 2016 note, and we have money from street aid. So what's the total, Alan?
How much is available?
No,
The
what's
total
the
project.
budget?
I don't really know what the total budget, because we use 3 different programs.
Yeah, I've got my book too.
I thought it was 500.
So we okay with,
Hold on, just a second. Let's get that
It's,
figure.
2, 4, 6, I'll say 750,000,
Okay, 750,000.
roughly.
Other questions?
Is this the total, this will be the total expense, or will there be more?
Unit price contract, so they can vary, like so much a ton, so much for a foot of guardrail.
But this will complete all the resurfacing that
Complete
needs,
research, the bridge repair, paint the lines, things like that.
so suppose it's coming in under budget.
Could come under, could come over.
Yeah, depending on some of the other costs that are associated with it.
So it's a unit price contract.
but it's really needed.
Oh,
The
yes.
road's pretty banged
Yes,
up.
the road's pretty bad shape.
And this is one that's in with the state, so they have to approve it. They would have to go back through them again.
Okay? Other questions? Comments? Call the roll, please.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed,
Aye.
Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Head.
Yes.
Gregg.
Aye.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 3.4, discuss and possible take action on a proposal from Gresham Smith in the amount of $49,331 to provide CEI services for resurfacing, bridge work, and guardrail repair on William A. Batson Parkway. Do I hear a motion to discuss?
So moved.
A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions? Call the roll, please.
Head.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Trotter.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Gregg.
Aye.
Hubbard.
Aye.
Sneed.
Aye.
Pass 7-0.
Thank you. 3.5, discuss and possible take action on a request from Alderman Harris regarding prayer before our regular meetings of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Do I hear a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And I'm going to call on our city attorney, Ms. Barty.
Good evening. Alderman Harris had put on the agenda for us to discuss whether, or you all to discuss whether or not that we could have a prayer before our meeting. And there is some Sixth Circuit case law in this matter that says that so long as the prayer meets some certain requirements, which include the city not proselytizing a particular religion and so forth, that is perfectly acceptable.
Okay. Discussion, gentlemen? Mr. Harris?
Thank you, Mayor. So I've been on the board since December of 16, and I've often wondered why we don't do this. I think it would be a good idea for us to do if it's approved, all the logistics of it haven't quite been worked out as to, but basically it will be a form of a sign-up sheet, if you call it, from the various ministers that would come and lead the prayer either before or following the pledge of the meeting.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
State legislature does every day, when they're in session.
I think our county commission does also.
Okay?
Comment?
Yes, sir.
I feel most trained clergy would know not to,
We'll give them guidelines.
well, they know not to really go off on another denomination or religion. Just a prayer.
We're going to need to adopt a policy on how we solicit those who deliver the prayer and so forth.
Okay. This is the first step tonight. Gentlemen, this side of the room, any questions, comments?
Is this going to be just at the meeting before the camera starts or after the camera?
During our regular meeting, the cameras would be started.
I'd say if you want to do this with the camera rolling, it'd be a proselytizing. Do you want to do it during the meeting before the camera starts? That'd be one matter. Is there going to be a time limit?
Good question.
How long are we, because I mean, You could get some people that's long-winded.
We would definitely,
Are they gonna try to inject politics into it? They're gonna keep to the script? Or do we get to review it so that they don't go off script before they say it?
We do not. That's one of the holdings of the court, is that it should not be reviewed. It is under no scrutiny in advance by a city official. Again, we would need to adopt some type of policy to address these issues, Mr. Sneed.
Okay?
Yeah, I read the court rulings on that, and it, even though the Supreme Court in 2014 said you could do this at municipal and county level, there was also a dissenting voice that said you're opening yourself up, because right now we're not offending anyone, and if you do start doing this, there will be people offended, and if someone in the audience during prayer does not feel as this is appropriate, and they don't bow their head, or someone else, and that's why, if the camera sees that, then are they going to be, and they have pending business before this board, are we going to look at that person who did not participate but when they come to the podium? There's a lot of issues that we don't have now that you're inviting by doing this. And I don't go to church to talk politics, and I don't come to City Hall to talk about prayer.
Other questions, comments, gentlemen? You're-
comment. I feel that a responsible pastor, per se, I'll put it in that category, they're trained to keep prayers of adoration, which is just thanks be to God, per se, without going into a whole lot of other stuff.
Okay.
And then I feel too that I've seen in public settings, if the person chooses not to bow his head, as long as they just not be disrupted.
Personal choice.
It's a personal choice.
Mr. Harris?
As I said just a moment ago, there's a lot of logistics of it that's going to have to be worked out if it's passed, but most anything we do on this board, we open ourselves to scrutiny on that, so this is no different than anything else that comes before us.
I agree. Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Trotter,
Aye.
Hubbard,
I got to say aye.
Head,
Yes.
Schneider,
Aye.
Sneed,
No.
Gregg, Harris,
Yes.
passed 6-1.
Thank you. 3.6. Okay, Ms. Holt, our city manager, has a question.
Okay, City Attorney Barty, so we need to, this will not go into effect until we get a policy like at next month's meeting? Is that what you're saying we need to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll bring it back next month.
So we will not be doing prayer next month. We will do this once we pass that. This is the first step. 3.6, discuss and possible take action on a professional service contract from Griggs & Malone to provide engineering services for a UV disinfection system replacement on a lump sum of $17,000. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions about this? No questions? Call the roll, please.
Sneed,
Aye.
Harris,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Gregg,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Schneider,
Aye.
Trotter,
Aye.
passed 7-0.
3.7A, discuss and possible take action on a recommendation from the Springfield-Robertson County Joint Airport Board to serve as the city appointee to replace Mr. Marvin Smith. Term will expire 12/31/2019. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Now, I will let you know that Mr. Neil Peterson with the Airport Board is here tonight to address questions that you may have from the Airport Board. Their chairman, Mr. Hawk Ruth, could not be with us tonight due to the fact that his brother passed away. Mr. Neil Peterson,
Mayor, we're making nominations for an appointment.
they were in your packet?
That's right. We're going to hear discussions before, from the audience before we discuss.
No, if Mr. Neil Peterson, if you have questions, he's here. That's up to y'all.
Is there a nomination? Is there a nominee?
3.6, 3.7.
Well,
Yes.
the proper order, when you are nominating to fill a position, you just nominate a name. It's not a motion and a second. And you don't need a second. So there's two candidates. It would be,
Okay, I will ask our city attorney her opinion on that matter.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
We have the clerk read the name from the airport board that they're suggesting into the record.
Yes, Mr. Lewis Walling.
Okay. Ms. Barty?
Mr. Sneed is correct.
Okay. All right,
so I nominate myself, Clay Sneed.
okay. Nomination of Clay Sneed. Okay,
Question for the attorney. Can one nominate himself for a position?
Yes, sir, he can, so long as it is not a compensated position, and one who serves on the airport board is not compensated. It's a volunteer position.
Okay, I just never heard that before.
okay.
Can
Ms.
we move that the nomination be closed with those two names? Is that proper?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we have the two names, Mr. Sneed and Mr. Lewis Walling.
Does somebody nominate Mr. Wall?
Do we have to since it was in the memo?
Nobody's,
Yes.
no one's nominated him.
Okay, hold on. Any other nominations?
Oh, so, okay. Can I pull back that close?
You don't have seconds in nominations. It's closed.
Well, could I just go ahead and nominate Mr. Wallen?
It's closed. You closed it.
No, I said two names.
Okay, hold on. Our
Ask the
city,
clerk to read the name.
He asked the clerk to read the name so that it would be known.
But nobody made a nomination.
I don't think,
It came from the airport board.
They're not on this board. The nominations have to come from this board.
okay. Ms. Barty, our city attorney,
Mr. Sneed, I believe that when there is confusion as to the procedure, that should be allowed.
That's fine. Go ahead.
okay. Okay. Any other nominations?
Did you nominate?
I would nominate Mr. Lewis F. Walling.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
There is no
There's
second.
no second.
Point of
We
order.
have two nominations. Are there any more nominations? Okay. Discussion now. Okay. Anyone that would like to discuss on the Board of Mayor and Aldermen?
May I make a comment?
No, sir. Hold
No,
on just
sir.
a second.
This is us.
Any discussion, gentlemen? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
What are we calling?
Vote for.
Call for name, individualized name.
Okay?
Don't you call the individual name?
Yes, you'll call the individual names, and there will be a...
The clerk will do that.
So start with Mr. Sneed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Sneed, Harris,
No.
Schneider,
No.
Hubbard,
No.
Trotter,
No.
Sneed,
Yes.
Gregg,
No.
Head,
Yes.
fails 2-5. Mr. Walling. Schneider,
Aye.
Harris,
Yes.
Gregg,
Aye.
Sneed,
No.
Trotter,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Aye.
passed 6-1.
Thank you. 3.7B, discuss and possible take action on a request by, oh, okay, so that we're pulling that. Yeah. 3.8, discuss and possible take action on the 2020 budget for the Springfield, Robertson County Joint Airport Board. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
He can't hear good.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
Tell him he's out of order.
Okay, so we got a first and we got a second. Okay. Any questions on this? On the airport board budget? Ms. Holt?
I'll just say that this is a preliminary budget. Until the contract with Wingnuts is finalized and until there's an airport manager, there's too much stuff going on right now that we don't know how the actual operations are going to be handled. So this is a preliminary budget, and there is no request for funds from the city.
Okay.
So what are we voting on if this is going to change?
The airport board is required to present a budget by April 1st of each year to the city and the county. Now, whether or not it's probably best to vote on it, I don't know if it's actually required to vote on it, but, so this is the budget that they presented actually on March 29th.
Is it for, do we vote on it, or is this for information only?
Have we seen it?
It's in there.
It's in your
But
package.
you made the statement that it was a preliminary budget.
Preliminary
So should we
budget.
be voting on the preliminary budget?
Well, you
Based
can
on
if
what
you're
they know.
supposed to. I mean, it's based on, they submitted it in a timely fashion, so maybe a city attorney can advise us on that as well. The airport board approved it, obviously.
We are required to, or the board is required to approve their budget.
Okay.
We ran into this last year. Even though it's a preliminary budget, once they finalize the budget, they can come back to us.
They should.
And request an amended, us to approve the amended budget. Most especially with the circumstances with the airport board right now and the contract being in limbo.
Okay. Questions?
So if they don't go with this budget, we'll see an amended budget from them.
Yes.
Correct.
Based on the information they know right now, they're submitting a preliminary.
This also requires approval from the county.
Yes.
Yes.
So either way it goes, we can prevent a whole lot of arguments we had over the years when they do present this final budget to us.
I'm not sure what you mean by a lot of arguments
You know,
we've had over the
and
years. but-
charges and all this stuff, I'm just,
Well, they're supposed to present a budget, and
Yeah,
this board
and I
should
want-
approve it,
I
the
want to
county
put all
should
that
approve it.
crazy stuff to bed. I guess I won't say that, okay? Point
Okay.
blank, that's me.
More questions and discussion. Mr. Sneed?
They have, they've known about this coming for a while. I don't like voting and approving budgets that they just throw some figures together and say, hey, we'll come back with the real numbers later, which is basically what this says. I was at the last meeting. I don't remember the board voting on a budget to approve this. Jana, did you see this at last week's meeting?
Yes, didn't they have it on the, or maybe, let's see.
I've been
The
to the
April
last
meeting?
four.
I
been
think
to the
so.
Last several meetings.
I think it was on the agenda for the April meeting.
I don't remember that discussed, but if you think it was.
Yeah, last week.
So, nevertheless, they have $75,000 for an airport manager. Is this a 1099 employee, or is this a W-2 where there'll be employee taxes added to it?
I think they had said that it would be a 1099.
The part-time employees, are they also 1099 contractors, and who pays their taxes?
I think that preliminary budget was for part-timers, that they would be paying taxes.
Where's so the 51,000 is going to include salary and taxes? That's not
Yes, for
that much.
four part-timers.
You're not going to get, but so you're looking at about 4 people making 10,000 a year,
That's,
and then the rest would be taxes. That doesn't seem like enough to run the airport, knowing what the operation is out there right now, Ms. Holt. This doesn't add up.
well, I believe, and I was going back to look and see if Mr. Martin can too. I think this is the budget that they passed.
Well, our new airport board member we just elected, maybe he could have answered this, but he didn't stay around for the discussion on this. So
They're outside. Could we bring them back in for
the
discussion?
utilities,
No.
No.
I'm sure we probably need the chairman.
I don't see anything here, since they're taking over the operation, I don't see anything about insurance. They have a fuel tank out there. Insurance is very expensive. when you have a fueling station, there's nothing, there's no line item for that. They haven't thought this through.
Well, and I cannot, whether Mr. Peterson just came back in.
Mayor, can I
Miss-
ask a question?
Mr. Peterson, will you come to the mic, please? Yes, sir, Mr. Harris.
That contract, or what they're doing right now, has not been finalized. has it?
No.
No, and that's why they are making estimates on revenue as well. They don't know on fuel, how much fuel. At the meeting of the airport board last week, was the budget on there? It was on there and you all approved it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
And so it was stated at the time that this was a preliminary budget, because I remember making that statement at that meeting.
That's right.
That until we know all the details of the contract, we don't, that they will come back with an amended budget.
When we get an FBO contract,
Right.
those details will be made known,
Right.
will be understood, yes.
And this was a best guess
Yes.
with what we know now. And so that's all we can say. And the
I've
board
got
did
it.
approve it, and Mr. Martin.
I have a question for the airport board member. The airport manager salary at $75,000, how was that figure arrived? Was that negotiated or asked for?
Negotiated.
Did you research other airport managers?
I wasn't involved in that.
So you can't answer the question. I've done some research, and it's excessive when you look at other airport managers.
That's a contract basis, not an employee
I understand,
basis.
I understand, but
So
still.
he'll be responsible for his own self-employment tax and that sort of thing.
Okay.
The part-time employees, how many employees do you think it'll take to operate the airport?
I've heard 4.
There's $51,000. Will they be W-2 or 1099 employees?
I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm sorry.
So if they're W-2, are they going to work for the airport manager contractor, or will they work for the county or the city? Or
They'll work for the airport manager. It's my understanding.
Okay.
I can't give you definitive on this because this is all happening pretty quickly.
Okay. When you
And
take.
we will ask Mr. Hawkruth, the chairman, to come at a later date. He's sorry he could not be here tonight, but he had a death in the family. His brother passed away.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ryan Martin, you'd like to speak on the matter?
Yeah, I was going back through conversations with Miss Betty Moore, who does the books for the airport board. If I remember correctly, can go back and back my way into, based on what the recommendation was from Mr. Ruth and Miss Betty, I believe it was 4 part-time employees, each working 16 hours a week at $10 an hour. And if you do that, and the taxes on top of that should give you a little bit less than that $51,000 number. Also, on the airport manager salary, the latest Burris-Thompson study does list the median airport manager salary at about $73,000. So there's market research that has been done on that and does support that figure as well. So, and the airport manager was a contract employee. The part-timers will be W-2 with taxes withheld, working for the airport manager, as I understand it.
Well, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
You said that you researched as well. Did you look at the Gallatin Airport?
I did not look at a specific airport.
Okay.
I wasn't involved in the setting of that salary, but I did find information that supported that figure based on the Burris-Thompson analysis, which is the same organization that developed our pay plan.
Can you forward me that
sure
information,
can, yeah.
where you come up with that information?
Yeah.
Because I'm understanding that the one at Gallatin's making about 40.
Okay.
Do they have an FBO at Gallatin? I think that's,
There was so much corruption up there, the county had to get the state legislature to create a new state law and take over the airport and from the airport board several years ago, and I think they do operate it in-house now.
All right, thank you. Ms. Holt?
I was just going to add to that, of course, all the airport managers have totally different responsibilities depending on whether or not there is an FBO. Some of them have them, some don't. The FBOs, some of them do more, some of them do less. So it really is hard to get an apples-to-apples comparison, but we do have the Burris-Thompson study, and we had heard that that was a pretty reasonable, especially since it's a 1099, which means the actual salary would be less, and they would be responsible, and they would, for all the benefits. So
Before we approve, if they make any amendments, we'll have to approve those, correct?
Yes.
I'd like to see the airport manager's contract, especially the part about any severance package or the terms, or if there's an exit if it doesn't work out, and that those terms should correlate fairly close with anything that Wingnuts does, because right now it's just a hodgepodge of contracts and terms, and it's just a mess down there.
Okay. Other discussion?
Comment.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Sneed, I certainly commend you for your knowledge, okay? Are you listening? The expertise you have given us on it. So that's a compliment.
Okay. Other discussion? No other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed,
No.
Harris,
Yes.
Trotter,
Aye.
Schneider,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Bragg.
Aye.
Passed 6-1.
Thank you. 3.9, discuss and possible take action on an easement for the construction of a tunnel under Bill Jones Industrial Drive to connect the two properties owned by Electrolux. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Holt?
Well, as you all know, there's a lot going on out at Electrolux, and if you drive through there, you see the mounds of dirt, the grading, and it's, they have huge plans, but the tunnel is, I think, where the crossing is now.
Okay.
200 feet of pavement.
Okay, just past it. And it's a way to connect both of the properties so that they can get back and forth underground, 60 feet wide, I think. That will allow all kinds of pedestrians and vehicles.
60 foot wide, which will include two-way truck traffic, as well as an area that will have a conveyor in it. So in the future, they can run stoves from where they manufacture them all the way to their storage up on top of the hill.
Oh.
In the future. But it's a quite wide tunnel, and we're going to have, it's going to be a while. They won't close the road down when they build it. They're going to move the road to one side and build half of it, then move the road to the other side. But it will be a very narrow area.
If you haven't driven down Bill Jones Industrial Drive, I'd encourage you to go and see what's going on, and the expansion with Electrolux is amazing. Any questions? Any questions on this side? Call the roll, please.
Head,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Trotter,
Aye.
Schneider,
Aye.
Bragg, Hubbard,
Aye.
Sneed. Passed 7-0.
Thank you. Moving on to our consent doc.
Mayor, I make a motion, we accept the entire consent.
Okay,
Second it.
all right. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trotter,
Aye.
Hubbard,
Aye.
Head,
Yes.
Schneider,
Aye.
Sneed, Bragg, Harris.
Yes.
Passed 7-0.
Before I turn it over to our city manager, I have to thank the city staff for the bicentennial kickoff of History Night at the Springfield Museum and the committee. I know there were several others in the community that helped with this. Ms. Jordan Osborne, who is in the audience with the Chamber of Commerce. It was a special night, and if you did not get to attend, I understand that we will be selling DVDs at a later date.
I don't know if we will,
Well,
the
not-
DVDs will be available.
The production company or the chamber will be selling those. We will not be selling anything. Let me correct that. If you haven't seen it, it was a wonderful night of historians talking about the city of Springfield and our 200 years of history here in Springfield. So I thank you, staff, for everything you did to prepare for that night. It was an amazing night. Also want to announce on Monday from 5 to 7, right here in this room, Congressman Rose will be here to have his first town hall meeting in the district. So I'd invite you everyone to come out and hear Congressman Rose and bring your questions. He'll be happy to answer those. I will now turn it over to our city manager, Ms. Gina Holt.
Okay, this board, the budget, we are trying to get the budget to you. The goal is the 26th, so we keep moving it up a little bit every year. So April 26th, so a week from Friday. And so we need to have a work session in May
Okay?
Probably, what were we looking at, the week of?
May 7th or May 9th. Look at your
Right,
calendars.
look at your calendars.
And we're going to go ahead and schedule our June meeting for our third and final reading also. Grab those calendars and let's see about the first one, special meeting for our budget on May 7th or May 9th. Talk to me about your calendars.
What time? What are we looking at?
Would you like to do it at 5 o'clock?
We usually do the
Early.
the budget one early.
Because it goes a little longer.
Subway,
Doing it here, right?
Yes, sir.
the city manager turned her head from me.
We'll talk about food. Let's get a date in a minute.
7th.
On the 7th. Are we all in agreement, the 7th?
Good with me.
5 o'clock in this room. Mr. Head, is 5 o'clock okay? Mr. Sneed?
May 7th,
Yes,
5 o'clock.
budget. Okay, let's go ahead and schedule our last and third and final reading in June. It has to be that week after we meet on the 18th, so what about the 25th at noon? Or the 27th? Now, okay, I hear somebody over here, we could meet on the 20th at noon.
Yes, I would love that.
But Monday's going to be, okay, never mind.
Okay?
The only thing is, and Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, if we have the second reading on the 18th, we can, the board, I shouldn't say this, but of course can make changes on the second and third. So, I mean, is there enough time if they make changes on the
Oh, that might not.
18th to have the third reading on the 20th? Or would it be better for the following week?
Yeah. Oh, that would be
What's your
bad.
conflict, Mr. Hope? You have a conflict that next week, the whole week?
Are you gone all week?
The 24th is usually my birthday, and I usually head home.
You go to
for
Texas.
Everything, so
Okay?
I'll,
Do you leave on the 24th?
24th is a birthday, I usually.
You're already there?
Yeah, I'm already there. But if it's going to be difficult on the 20th, did I hear you say, Ms. Crockett?
If we make changes, it'll be difficult.
And I think we're going to make some changes, right, gentlemen?
Probably not.
We usually make them on the second reading, which is the 18th. So, could we do it on that 21st? Or is that still to give you another day?
I can't do 21st.
Okay,
I wish you could.
all right. Okay, so the week of the 24th. Sorry, Mr. Hubbard. Can we?
I mean, are we totally out on the 20th?
It depends on what you do. I mean, to get accurate, and as Ms. Crockett said, to analysis, if you do something where we end up, heaven forbid, having to borrow more or whatever, then we wouldn't have all of that information. Hopefully that won't happen because we are trying to borrow less and
is a
pay
goal.
things off. So, I mean, it just depends on what this board does.
Is there any rule that we have to wait so many days after the regular meeting, the second reading?
No, it's just
As long
for her.
as it's all publicly noticed properly.
If it has an objection, I say do it the 20th.
The
Can I
20th.
can I kind of plead my case on the really on the fourth Saturday of June, in my neck of the woods, they have one of the biggest festivals in Texas there, and most of the home folks come home. That's generally during my birthday period, so I try to be there.
Okay.
But I'm a team player. All right?
Okay, so how about that we come back on the 20th at night and that gives her some more hours?
Yeah.
We could come back at 5 o'clock. I'm just thinking out loud. This is a group discussion.
We're not gonna spend a lot of money, so
I don't think 5 hours is gonna make a difference.
Okay, so you think noon on the 20th?
Well, and thing that people don't realize is when one line item is changed in one budget, then it crosses everything. So the one line item could change, it affects the transfers and the utilities, it could, it affects the way things are allocated. I mean, it's like, there's no such thing as changing one line item. It goes through the whole budget.
And we can do it the week of the
When are you leaving?
the
Ms. Hubbard?
24th.
Well, I'm not gonna leave without,
When are you planning on leaving?
Well, see, I was planning on leaving, you know, at least, what was it?
Saturday, next week.
Can we come in here Saturday
Rather
morning?
Friday.
Saturday
Friday.
morning.
The 22nd, could we come in here?
Will you be here Saturday morning?
The 22nd.
No, that's when all the events start.
Okay.
See, Friday would be the travel time. But I'll, you know, I'm not
Okay.
gonna miss the budget. Budget is number one. This is,
Okay.
as Hubbard said, this is his baby, and I will be here to make sure my baby goes through. So I will be here. If you guys can't do it, you can't do it on the 20th,
We'll do it.
I just have to suffer.
Okay, will you be back home by the 27th?
When do you come back?
When you come back?
Yeah, I'll be back by the 27th.
Okay.
That's normally what we've done that last Thursday.
Uh-huh. Mr. Sneed, are you good with the 27th?
Of June,
Yes, sir. At noon?
be fine.
27th, gentlemen?
Yeah, I do.
12 noon.
27th,
Okay,
12 noon.
12 noon, right here in this room.
thank you.
What's this, the second budget meeting?
Third,
That'll be the third reading.
third and final reading.
So I can go eat the sausage and the real barbecue, right?
Okay. Ms. Holt, I interrupted you just because we had to get those meetings, so,
Well, no, I didn't have much else.
okay, gentlemen,
Just in that email, Kim.
we're back.
Okay, the only other thing I wanted to remind you all is the summer concerts start first Friday on the square, so May 3rd will be here soon, and it's Howard Decker. It's country music, but there's a lot going on the square. So, and then I think we have Earth Day this Saturday, and there will be a whole lot of activity downtown, and so just a lot going on in Springfield, and get out and support it.
Thank you, and if you haven't been to the square on Friday night, it is amazing, and I want to see each and every one of you there. Meeting's adjourned.
Go out there and look at that park.